How's it going, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of the James Lab podcast. My special guest is Mosca Rick from Mosca Seeds. How you doing today, Rick?
Good, James. Glad to be here.
Man, so it's been a while. It's been a year since I guess we hung out at Spannabis this year.
Yes, yeah, Spannabis. What a great event. That was really tremendous.
So we've been doing booths together for the last few years at Spannabis. We spend time hanging out, traveling the world together here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, it's great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me, James.
Awesome. So I guess let's get started and talk about your history and how you came up in the industry.
Well, it's always been a love for the plant. And when I was 13, my relatives who lived in Iowa showed me these huge 15-foot hemp plants, asking us if we knew what that was. We had no clue. We got a paper garbage bag full of flour, and we took it home with us back to Illinois, thinking that this is really potent, good stuff, and it did nothing but give us headaches. We tried to cure it in mason jars with apple slices, oranges, and all it did was mold.
Yeah.
So that was the beginning of it. And then, throughout, going to school in the summers, I worked at an orchid farm, near my home. And that's really where I learned more about cultivation, growing. And then, I traveled to Amsterdam back in 1999. And to me, to be able to see people smoking freely, in coffee shops, was just an eye-opening experience. And at that time, for me, my whole goal was to grow flower as good as I could buy in Amsterdam coffee shops.
Oh, wow.
And,
weren't setting your goals too high.
yeah. Well, at that time, that was...
So was this in the 90s?
Yeah, late 1999 was the first time I visited Amsterdam.
Awesome.
And the greenhouse was one of the first ones I went to, and I still have a big blown up portrait of their menu, and I keep up on my wall just to remind me of where it all began.
Yeah, I still have my bobblehead from Ariane.
Oh,
the
right.
King of cannabis.
Yes. Yeah, that was great to share space at his booth this year at Spannabis.
Yeah, that was really cool. Really cool. It was, I hate to say it, but I think it was my best Spannabis ever. Like, I had a really good time. I think we had a lot of fun. For me, it was more fun than it's been in the past. Even though we worked our asses off, I wasn't having to manage multiple seed companies. It was just you and I hanging out with Greenhouse. That by itself was a lot of fun. Yeah,
much more efficient, I think. And to see all our old friends from, our past, and that was really tremendous to see old faces and to connect with Mila at the squash off.
Right.
That was fantastic. One of our highlights, definitely.
Squash off was really cool. I've seen it before many times. This was the first time I judged, and I've been friends with Uncle Stoner for a long time.
Yeah, good guy.
He's a good guy. He's a real character. He's a one of a kind, genuine dude. He's very authentic.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And he wears his heart on his sleeve. Yeah, it was a really great event. I thought it was a lot of fun. Being able to contribute. Ken Estes was there. It was, I get to bump into a lot of people I haven't seen in a while. And, Spannabis, it's just a beautiful thing, beautiful event for cannabis people coming together. I can't speak highly enough of the event. It's my favorite gathering of friends, especially.
Right. And see that number of people and just having a great time, talking, having a lot of social aspect, but then also there's a business aspect to it.
Right.
And so just a great balance, and there's no better city to have it in.
No, and the food is amazing. I mean, we have a great time.
Yeah.
And I think we don't have to worry about COVID now, so that makes it a little better. Sure. There was a couple, I was worried a little bit this year because the year before we had to wear masks, and that was kind of like, it was a little bummer. The the amount of people attending wasn't very high the previous year. But this year was like COVID didn't exist. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah. The amount of people, it was no holds bar. There was just so many.
Yeah.
Tremendous time.
So going back, so you started smoking early 90s, late 80s?
I've always smoked like through the 80s, 90s. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And, growing up in the Midwest, it's really hard to find good flower.
I bet.
But that's all changed now. But back in the day, I mean, it was all brickweed. Occasionally get some Thai stick, but there really wasn't a lot to choose from.
Yeah. So how did you transition from going as a cultivator into breeding? And when did that occur? Was that a long time ago?
So that was in the early 2000s, like 2003, 4. I became very good friends with Hedit Slot, who owned Magus Genetics out of Amsterdam. I had met him. Actually, I had bought seeds from the Bluebird coffee shop in Amsterdam. And out of the 20 packs that I bought, the Warlock was one of my favorites. And so I went to the High Times Cup like a year later, and Garrett or Hedit had a booth at the High Times Cup. And so I went up to him, started talking to him, and I said, you're Holland's best kept secret, because the genetics that I found from those seeds were just some of my favorite. And we talked for 4 hours straight, and we really connected. And he was really my mentor in selection for plants. And because I had smoked the Cinderella 99 seeds that I had, and I really connected with the plant. I loved the cerebral high, but it had like an indica aftertaste to it. So it was like a roller coaster. To me, that complexity was really interesting. And it's something that really motivated me. So I talked to Garrett about how can I keep this in case I lose my mother plants. Mm-hmm. And so he helped me with selection, what to look for. And so I went and I took 5 different families of the Cinderella 99 that was available at that time. This was back in the Gypsy Nirvana days. So I bred the different selected plants to come up with what I ended up calling the Cinderella 99 back cross. And so that was my first project. And Garrett told me that Gypsy, one of his favorite strains, was the Cinderella 99. He said, well, if you have so many seeds, why don't you send him some, and, he can distribute them out, give them out as freebies. I'm like, okay, that sounds like a great idea. So I did that. And, Gypsy gave some of those seeds to Crazy Composer, who used to be the senior editor for High Times. Mm-hmm. And he did a blog on it. And he said it was the best example of the pineapple pheno of the Cinderella 99 he's ever grown. And all of a sudden, everybody wanted them. Right. And then Gypsy said to me, well, I guess it's time you get your own page. And so I had to all of a sudden put a seed company together, and it was all based on the Cinderella 99. And they sold out like within the first 15 minutes. It was just, it started with a bang.
That's awesome.
I've done projects that included the Old Time Moonshine, one of DJ Short's short-lived strains. He stopped working with it because of the high number of mutations in the line. Mm-hmm. And so I had sourced 2 packs from some IC maggers, and started working with them, and found some male and female keepers, and then did that line. And then I started doing projects on my own based on, different strains that I liked. And, that was a good 17 years ago that I've been growing professionally now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're in Illinois right now.
Yes.
How's the market over there?
The market is very strong. There's the dispensaries. They keep adding dispensaries. The numbers wise, they're selling, hundreds of millions of dollars a month. Right. Through dispensaries. We've been fortunate that some of our strains have been included in the dispensaries. We've worked with a company called New Era, now Legacy IL, but they've put our Raspberry Boogie into the dispensaries, and then now unreleased strain called Root Beer Mac. And so Mean Gene's root beer with capulators Mac. And
is it hazy? Because I feel like everything bred with that Mac ends up hazy.
Yeah, there is definitely a haze
There's like
aspect.
this dominance. Yeah, there's this dominance that comes from that Mac.
Yeah.
That Colombian side of, good or bad, however you want to take it. It's a hard breeder, and it's, I think Mac 1 is a beautiful plant. I think it's amazing looking, but it's a really tough plant to breed with properly.
Yeah. Yeah. And, so, it all comes down to selection.
Right.
And it's a numbers game. So the larger sample size you have, the more likely that you're going to find what you're looking for.
Yeah, especially with something like that, where you have something so dominant, you want a larger gene pool to select from. 100%, I agree. Some stuff you don't need 1,000 seeds to go through. You might need 100. You might need 150. I think over 1,000 is a little crazy. Some people do that, but what's your magic number for selections?
We like to do 50.
Okay.
But then, like if we've done a run outdoors, we've done 300.
Yeah.
But I think if you select your parental stock properly, then you're going to get what you want out of a 50 sample size.
Right.
So,
well, the more you know the line, the better. I think at the end of the day, what people don't understand is like the more you breed with stuff, you understand what the male and what the female or donor and what the female is contributing. And you a lot of times know what you're looking for. So it makes it a lot easier. And if you're going to have to pop 100 seeds or you're going to have to pop 50 seeds, or you'll probably find what you're looking for in a smaller amount, like 15 or 20.
Yeah, true. And, the whole pheno hunt is an entire process because it starts from labeling correctly from when you plant those seeds. Because if you're doing, 3, 4, 5 strains of 50 each, you need to make sure everything is documented properly and sometimes more than just one label.
Do you do a stake and a collar tag?
Yes.
Or we've talked about this before. Both we're on the same page on this one for sure. And it's so easy to get stuff mixed up. And also very just easy. Getting rid of the wrong plants. When you're doing the selection process, growing them out multiple times. I used to grow them out once and do my selections, and that's really not the way to do it. Yep. So how many times do you grow them out?
At least 2, but preferably 3.
Yeah. And what are you typically looking for when you're doing your selections?
So I believe that with selections, you have to look for the most ideal plants of what we consider ideal. And so for me, it's the bud. Does it have, when it's dry, does it have bag appeal? Does it have that loud aroma to it? What's the high like? There's things like that people talk about, they want a really heavy yielder. Well, that's not necessarily, the best for quality in today's market, California, Illinois, everywhere. It's all about quality. And once you start doing proper pheno hunts, and working the whole lines through a process, you understand what that means.
Right. And you don't necessarily want to prioritize prioritize yield.
Right.
I think prioritizing quality is the most important thing. and yield can be down on the list of things because there's a commercial viability aspect of it, especially at scale when people are growing, rooms of it, for instance. But, I think the first thing for me is always flavor. Effect. Yeah. Effect is super important too. Right. But like flavor speaks highly. Flavor chasers. I'm a flavor chaser. You're a flavor chaser. We're doing some projects together. We're all about chasing flavors at the end of the day. I like a variety of flavors too. So jumping into that, what are the flavors that you like?
I like the whole spectrum. Yeah. I mean, I love the OGs. I love fruity. I love something that's unique and different, like your Zeros.
Yeah.
I mean, that brings a lot to the mix. It's just the taste is really something really special. So it's not just one thing. It's definitely multiple things. But those are the flavors that I like. But I like something that I really like the Skittles.
Yeah.
I smoked a joint the other day at this concert, and it was just it had some hash in it. It was Skittles hash with the Skittles flour. It was off the hook.
Well, you should taste that because that one right there is just the flour, and I don't think you need any hash with it.
Oh, right.
I think that's the one.
Will do.
So I'm pheno hunting, so I need to go through some of these flavors. But this is a Zeros ZBX. So it's this.
Oh.
Yeah. So the loops.
Mm-hmm.
And we found some candy ones, which is great. Going back through them and.
Oh yeah.
Pretty good flavor though, right?
Right off the bat, you taste it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's down to that roach. If you were to refire the roach a month later, you'd probably taste it.
That says something right there. And when you find flour that tastes like it smells, that's special.
Yeah, I mean, you do a lot of pheno hunting as well, and going through, it's like there's a lot of stuff that can be misleading, where the nose in the bag is so amazing, and then you go to smoke it, and it's a letdown. It's all over the spectrum.
Yeah, or even the look. It may have great bag appeal.
So much stuff. There's Oreos.
Yeah, right.
Oreos has great bag appeal. It looks super sexy. But then when it comes to smoking it, it's like cardboard terps. I'm not really into those terp profiles like that, where it does have terps. It just has like this chocolatey funkiness that I'm not super, I'm not impressed by, but it's not something I go out and look for.
Right. Yeah. But it is really great to find some good combinations. I brought some of the flour for you to look at, the Zeros Raspberry Boogie, because to me that does hit on all cylinders. That
so
is what we're looking for.
People know about the Zeros, but let's talk about the Raspberry Boogie. So this is our collaboration that we've been working on we've been working over a year.
Yep. Almost 2 years.
We've exchanged, almost 2 years. We've exchanged a bunch of genetics and we share stuff and, and we're able to hang out enough to where we can smoke stuff together and kind of talk about it. But let's talk about the Raspberry Boogie and the history of that. Yeah.
So the Raspberry Boogie, that's the sour raspberry to the pink 2.0. Pink 2.0 is from Mike Exotic. And, that is one that I've worked, the longest on, and the one that, really has been, our flagship strain. It's our most popular over time, and really has raspberry terps to her. The flower has a real deep purple to a magenta coloration, and just very tasty. She tests in the high 20s, 28, 29%, and she's been cultivated, I think, in every single state in the country and worldwide. So she's really,
you've been selling seeds out for a while over in Europe. In fact, we met a guy from Norway who really loved the Raspberry Boogie.
Yes. Yeah, and that was all from like IC magazine,
Right.
because there's a lot of Europeans that belong to the group, and yeah, it's great to.
So, do you still have your IC magazines, or did you ever have them?
I never had them.
Yeah, but you were part of the forum.
Yes, going back along. That's where I learned a lot, and some of my really good friends, including.
Totally.
BJ. So
nice.
Yeah. Still see like True Cannabis.
Yeah.
Barry.
Barry. I partied with Barry in Amsterdam. We have some crazy stories about him and I and Dr. Green, which is Marcus from Greenhouse. He was on the Trinidad episode of Strain Hunters. But partying with him at Voyagers and all over Amsterdam, and good people.
Yeah,
he's hilarious. Barry's he's really into weed. He's super passionate.
Yeah,
love the guy.
Yeah, and I ran into him at Spanibus when we were there.
Yeah.
So fantastic.
Yeah. So, what are you working on right now?
So right now, I just finished growing out a lot of offspring of projects I've worked on. We just released our Mountain Dew. That has been really well received.
What is it?
Mountain Dew is sour Kush to the pink.
Nice.
And gassy, has like this almost lemon lime aftertaste that resonates on your palate. It's
kind of like a Black Lime Reserve.
Kind of.
Yeah, like lemony Sprite tasting almost.
Yes.
Where it's super lime. You taste the lime, but it's Sprite.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Candy, but not Skittles. I like that.
Exactly. And I brought some flour for you to try out.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So working on the Mountain Dews. I have some others in the works. And so, as a breeder and developing new cultivars, I've learned that if you have like a strain that you're working on, and for example, I've been working on unicorn poop cross of the pink animal crackers. Great bag appeal, great structure, phenomenal high to her, but she doesn't have that loud nose. And we've grown out, hundreds of.
Does it smoke loud or no?
It smokes loud. But does not taste loud.
So the funny thing is like for me personally, like at the end of the day, if it tastes loud and it tastes amazing, I don't mind if it's not loud in the bag. It's okay. Like, I mean, I want it to be because it's a good selling point. But at the end of the day, if it's like a sleeper and nobody knows about it and it smokes amazing, that's okay too. Especially if the high is good.
Yeah. So this is more like a sleeper. But I wanted to give her some flavor. So I crossed her to the raspberry boogie. Yeah. Cause she delivers when it comes to that. And, brought some flour for you to sample.
You grow really, really, really frosty, good, delicious flour. Everything I've had from you has been that. The raspberry boogie Zeros was amazing. It had seeds in it, and I still smoked it. I kept the seeds, obviously, but man, that was some good stuff. Like, and it's funky. It's got a funky, like almost sour raspberry, like sour cherry and raspberry flavor to it, which is really special. Yeah,
and a very thick smoke to her.
Yeah.
That is
like a creaminess. Is that so the cereal milk in the Zeros with it's like Zerbert, which has the Skittles sherbet, and then that cereal milk, it adds this nice creaminess to a lot of the phenos. So you look at the loops that we were doing, a lot of them had that bready creaminess that like really, it makes it for a thick smoke.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, it sure is. And then third project that I've been working on is collaboration with BJ Sog Army, and that's working with Pink Zaza, and we've done some crosses with her.
Yeah, he's a really good dude. In fact, that's one of the people you're visiting here in California.
Yes. We've been together for 3 days visiting farms.
Going to concerts.
Yes, at the
Larry
Fox.
June.
Yep, in Oakland. Great time. Just really good times. Sold out for like 3 days.
Cool. Good stuff. So let's dive into some breeding talk.
Okay.
So as far as reversals, we've been chatting on the phone about reversals for the last 5 years.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, and I think you were at a point where you're struggling, and you have worked it all out. And it's such an individual thing for people. The reversal side, I think it's a lot more difficult than people think, and there's a lot of trial and error involved. And each room is different. You know, I can write a SOP for it, but that doesn't mean that it's going to work perfectly the first time in your room.
Right.
Looking back, with everything that you know now, what would you tell yourself about that when you first started?
Take the time to really think through the different steps of the process.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we as farmers are very busy all the time because there's, 101 things that need to be done. So you prioritize those and really take the time, think them through, so that way you ensure that each step of breeding or reversal is done properly.
Yeah.
Because I have found, if I look back at my steps of, either something's gone perfect, better than expected, or terrible.
Yeah.
Things are not working properly. And a lot of times you don't know till after.
Taking notes is one of your big ones.
Yeah. Definitely keep a notebook.
Yep.
For each room that you're working on, because, I had mentioned that we were doing 4 or 5 reversals at a time.
Yeah.
You got to keep them all separate and keep them all organized. So
yeah, we have a 14 light reversal room here where we're testing. We're doing a lot of R&D in there as well. But yeah, taking notes is essential. Not using LEDs is great. I mean, some people get great results, and that's fine. I'm glad they do. My light spectrum of choice is HPS.
Ah, okay. 600s, thousands, what?
Whatever.
Single-ended, double-ended?
It used to be 600s. Now I use thousands. It's great. But yeah, the DEs, the HPS, I think is the way to go. And then cutting the nutrition by 50%.
Nice. Yeah. So, do you find that when you do that, the plants turn more yellow on the lower leaves?
I would say that the plants stress more with the HPS, and then cutting the nutrition. You could even cut the PPFD a little bit, but what you're trying to do is stress the plant out. And in combination with the silver and the stress, I use a nano silver that's sprayed every other day from about 7 to 10 days before, depending on the cultivar, till about 7 to 10 days after, depending on once you start seeing signs. Okay. But yeah, what's your method?
So we use STS, and I use Garrett Slott's proprietary method.
Is that the 4-to-1? Well, it's proprietary.
Yeah, I have to read my notes.
But yeah.
So it is proprietary, but I will tell you that it's very stable. We start like a month before the reversal.
Oh, wow.
To spraying up in 2 weeks into.
So it's a lighter dose of STS.
Yes.
So yeah,
for longer.
It's definitely not the 4-to-1. Maybe, yeah.
And so it's not stressful on the plant.
Yeah.
And because it's a very stressful thing for the plant to reverse its sex, so let's not add to that. And I've had distributors say, like Pure Sativa, that seeds produced with that reversal, there's 0 intersex traits. He never gets complaints about our seeds or Garrett seeds.
Yeah.
And because it works. So I would rather take a longer time reversing a plant, knowing that the outcome is going to be what we want it to be.
Right.
So, but Mother Nature still does her thing. So what is it? 1 out of every 4,000 will be a male.
Oh, no. I mean, you could have them express males, and especially if you're field testing, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
1 in 1,000 is likely to express some sort of male plant, but you can get full male expression, and it's just very cultivar specific or cross specific. Like if you're dealing with autos, it's depending on a lot of factors. But really stable stuff, it should be like 1 in 1,000. Like that's considered stable. If you have 1 in 4,000, that's awesome. That is just fantastic.
Well, that's what some books
and some
say.
of the autoflower varieties. Yeah, if you're getting like 1 in 1,000, that's not too bad. But 15, but you got to think, if you're putting 15,000 of those out per acre, you're going to have 15 plants you got to pull.
Yeah, right.
And I think in the beginning, a lot of guys they just let it do their thing and stuff will get seeded. But if you have a good trained staff, you can pull those out. You can identify them before they're an issue, especially the ones that are fully expressing.
Yeah, but you got to take the time to be in there with the plants to really be able to identify it, because
walking through the fields. Yep. That's a lot of walking, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
it really is. So.
Yeah, seeing acres of autoflower just makes me smile.
Right. So. No crappy days there.
No.
I agree with you. Proper reversal techniques are so important for breeding, because now everyone wants to grow feminized seeds for the different state requirements for how many personal plants you can have at home growing. So
would you say that 75% of your seed sales are feminized and 25% are reg, or would you say it's even more? I would say mine is probably 90-10.
Mine's actually more. We still offer a few strains regular because there are people still looking for them.
I have them too. I offer a lot regular, but as far as what people buy, people really buy feminized seeds mostly. And
we're like 95% now.
Yeah.
So 95, 98. We'll see, the occasional pink lemonade or Mountain Dew.
Other breeders buying them. I get other breeders, and I'm super happy. To be honest, I'm super happy when other people buy my regs to breed with. I think that's a good thing. Some breeders are like, "Oh, you should ask permission." You buy someone's regular seeds,
right? You
don't ask permission. Go ahead and use them. Go ahead and breed with them. Breed your heart's content, and I'm just happy people are, buying my genetics and are happy with them. I think, it's a personal thing, but also it's like we're breeding for other people and we're breeding for the world. I breed for what I like a lot of times, but I also am aware of where the market's going and what people like. And I want to have a variety of all this stuff.
Yeah, no, I think that's good because, when you, look at the different states. East Coast is different than West Coast.
Totally.
Midwest is different. And so, what might be popular, like sour diesel in New York, it might be Skittles something here.
Yeah, they got some pith.
Pith is a big thing now,
Yeah,
those hazes. I mean,
the pith is super big. The black Cuban haze.
Yes.
Those are all real popular. Yeah. They started here, though, by the way, just so people remember. Started in Santa Cruz, the Hayes, the Hayes brothers.
Yes. Back in the day, I grew Neville's haze.
Yeah.
Greenhouse seeds. And
I love Neville's. I love the A5. The A5 is a Neville's haze.
Yes.
And that was the closest thing there is to cat piss without being cat piss. It was straight ammonia. It just didn't have the skunk behind it.
Yeah. No, she's great. I've run her many times.
Yeah.
Beautiful plant. But, so depending on, what's popular or what they're looking for, Oklahoma, whatever, then it's good to have that variety.
Yeah.
Because somebody wants it somewhere. So
totally.
And I think as breeders, we want to make sure we're giving people a good selection. That's what we do.
Yeah. At the end of the day, giving people options. Because we want variety. We want people to breed variety. But the funny thing is, in the United States, just like in Europe, they went towards everything haze. Before haze, there was a lot more variety there too. But we bottleneck because we get so excited about stuff, and then there's the hype, and then these exotic strains. Wants. Now it's like everyone's jumped on. I got to have gelato, but really, there's so much other stuff out there. Gelato's great. I have no problem with it, but there's a ton of other stuff. Going through like what we're doing with our project with the Raspberry Boogie Zeros.
Yes. Yeah.
So
totally different direction. And you know what? I think that's the beauty of a good collaboration is you're going to come up with something that's, from the best from both of us.
Right. It's a piece of two different people.
Yeah.
Right. And put together to make something better. And I think
breeding
with intention is so important. And I think it's a lot of time overlooked. They're like, I just crossed this with this. Like, I believe in intentional breeding, and the stuff we do together, that's intentional breeding. We're purposely crossing these things together with the intent of getting something that's somewhere in the middle that has something that's part of each that's beautiful.
Yep.
Some good contributing factor. And the raspberry boogie's got a lot of terps. Xerios has a lot of terps. Together you're getting stuff that's real terpy, but raspberry, then you get creamy candy from the Xerios. So it's just a good complex thing. And breeding with intent like that, you're going to improve the gene pool rather than either, stay the same or bring it down. It's constant improvement. Yeah. These little constant things that where we're improving, and, you do something good and it could be around forever.
True. Yeah. We all know a whole bunch that are like that. But, that's the interesting thing is, like an AK-47.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. I mean, it always has been.
It's funny. It was mentioned on the last show too.
Oh, the cherry?
Or the one before. Yeah, no, the AK-47.
Oh, cherry, not cherry.
No. The original AK.
Gotcha.
So, we'll come back. We'll get Simon on the show one of these days.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
He is.
A real true F1 breeder.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Because I think he was a biology teacher, wasn't he?
Yeah. Something like
professionally, and then
super smart.
Yes, he is. Yeah, good people. And he's always good to see at Spannabis.
Yeah. What's your favorite old school strain?
Probably Cinderella 99.
Nice.
Yeah, and I still have an original mom.
Yeah.
So she's a true Cinderella pineapple.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Where can people find out more about you? Instagram, your website? Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So Instagram, our moniker name is Mosca Seeds. So at Mosca Seeds, and our website is moscaseeds.com. We have a lot of information on our site, and it's actually one of the top 10 in the world.
So we also have another collaboration that we've done that you can find those seeds on your website.
Yes, we have them on our website.
So yeah, the James Loud Mosca collaborations, go to moscaseeds.com, check them out. You're on Instagram at Mosca Seeds, not Mosca-Seeds, not Mosca. Do you have a bunch of fake accounts?
Yes, there are.
It's crazy.
We try to get them to take them down, but
yeah, there's like 5 different ones. And if you don't type in Mosca Seeds perfectly, you'll get the other ones.
Yes. Very true.
So yeah. Well, it was a pleasure having you on the show today, man. A lot of fun.
Good seeing you.
We'll have to do this again sometime soon when we announce our next collaboration. We're going to do some Zoom style podcasts in the near future. So It'd be great to come out and check out your farm.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you for coming on the show, and we'll talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Hey, everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe.